So just to wrap up the 5201, because it is really important to understand both sections of the 5201 and how you're going to go about completing that. So for all of the information sharing consents, especially the 5201, it needs to be signed and dated. So both sections, if it can be completed, needs to be signed and dated. Needs to be continuously updated. So if there is an individual who needs to drop off of section 1, where the parent, the legally authorized representative, the guardian is giving consent to share information, if for any reason that person is no longer consented to, they just need to strike a line through that individual and initial and date that, and then that person no longer has consent. Conversely, if you are going to be adding anybody to that consent, they'll just need to write their name in there and then initial and date that as well. So that form, the 5201, is a living document. It's continuously updated, and every time that is updated, it needs to be uploaded in its entirety to the record system. So in NetSmart, every time that this 5201 is updated, it needs to be re-uploaded into the system in its entirety, sections 1 and 2. This is regardless of whether or not section 2 is being used. So if section 2 is not being used, then it's going to be notating on it or putting it in a note saying that section 2 was not used for any reason, but both sections need to be uploaded in the record system every time that it's either updated for the or uploaded for the first time or updated continuously year after year. And make sure that all check boxes are completed appropriately. Section 2 needs to have those check boxes checked. So whether it be yes or no, everything needs to be checked, everything needs to be filled out. A little bit more about Section 2, needs to be completed for children 10 years and above. The care manager should attempt to have this conversation about Section 2 without the caregiver. So again, if that's appropriate, you should be taking them into another room or having the caregiver leave and say, okay, now who do you want to have access to all of this information? So you're trying to have that conversation with the member yourself, again, if they're over the age of 10 and if it's appropriate. And if the parent doesn't wish for the child to complete Section 2, or the child doesn't want to complete Section 2, this has to be documented on either the 5201 itself on Section 2, or in the record system in a note saying Section 2 could not be completed for this reason.